how did you choose your career, and what did you enjoy about it?
Uh, well, my career is kind of interesting because when I was in high school, I wanted to go to advertising. I want to be a copywriter or an account executive. But then the Vietnam War was heating up my senior year, so everything, if you're at draft age, everything else becomes secondary. You're worrying about drafted. Do I get drafted or do I enlist? Uh, so what I did is um, what I did, I took a year off from high school to work and finish off paying my car and to save up some money for college. And then I went to community college for 2 years, and I worked at the community college, arranging classrooms, cutting grass, policing the parking lots, picking up trash, stuff like that. And then I went to Michigan State last 2 years, and when I got out, I was really lost, so to speak. By then, advertising, I majored in advertising marketing. By then, I really lost the bug for advertising. So I found a good paying job at Uniroyal, working with tires. A simple job, but paid well. And then what happened after that? Oh, the lottery system came in, and when I got out of college, my birthday came up to be 107, but the war started winding down. They caught Nixon in Cambodia, and the American public and the politicians decided we had no business being there. So luckily they only went to 96 or 97 that year. So that was a nail-biting year. So and then the guy I work with at Uniroyal, young kid, we went to Toronto one weekend, took the train to Toronto. On the way back, we met your mother on the train. And your mother actually liked this other guy. He was a tall, good-looking, blonde-haired guy. She gave him her phone number. But he never called her. And then I went off to Mexico for 3 months because we got laid off at Uniroyal. So I went to Mexico 3 months, called your mother when I got back, and the rest is sort of history in that regard. But I started looking for a job through the newspapers, which is not a thing you do today. But back in those days, there'd be ads and classifieds. I found an ad it was looking for people for American Sunroof Corporation. So I sent them my resume, got an initial interview, and they narrowed it down as 6 people. the American Sunroof was expanding. They were gonna hire 6 people and send them to 6 different locations. And I found out later the founder of our company, Heinz Proctor, had picked me for South San Francisco, where he started installing sunroofs in automobiles when he was an exchange student at San Francisco State University in a garage. So I got hired in San Francisco and moved out there and loved that job, but didn't pay too well. Then I got exposed to the computer industry, so I wanted more money. I wanted to get more exposed to the computer industry, so I applied for this job. Turned out to be a manufacturer's rep, but he turned over some resumes to regional manager of a company called Data Packaging, and he called me and asked me for an interview, tried to explain what they did over the phone. They did plastic injection molding, precision plastic injection molding. At that point in time, they were still manufacturing 8-track tapes, cassette tapes, micro cassette tapes for dictation machines, and they were doing ribbon cartridge for printers. And that's where I focused on. I became sort of the in-house expert on ribbon cartridges, and eventually I got every contract in the United States because I know that for a fact, because after a few years, the company, a big German company that was a big player in the industry, their local rep got fired, and when she got fired, I met with her and to get some leads. She didn't have any more leads than I did. She didn't even know the people I knew, and she told me the reason she got fired because I took all the business away. And then her boss, the national sales manager, ended up going to Data Packaging and getting a national sales manager for then. It's kind of funny. It drove them out of business, but I forget from that. And then from there, I moved to the East Coast with a startup company, making these 3 1/4 inch disk drives. Company went bust. Then I went with high capacity, high quality inkjet printer company, and then your mother decided she wanted to move. She didn't like Boston. She tired of 4 seasons. But and then I started Wells Fargo and the Carlson. So the rest is sort of history. But my career was basically on sales. But I love my job at Epson, selling disk drives, and I love my job at Data Packaging. I really was in it. And it taught me a lot. I took an all-day test in Chicago for some chemical company. And at the end of the day, the test showed I had a master's in mechanical engineering. And all I had was a Bachelor of Arts. So I think that stems from my growing up in Detroit, changing my own clutches, helping my friend built an engine from scratch and being around engines and the data packaging, calling on engineers and stuff like that.